Hello, Sivert. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
First, thank you for this conversation. It's real pleasure for me. I think this is your first introduction in front of Bulgarian audience. Am I right?
It is. It must be. I can't remember having talked to anyone from Bulgaria.
Where do I found you now? 10 days before your tour about your new album on an island. Where are you now?
I'm in my home. This is part of my living room. So so yeah, I'm just doing preparations for the tour, and also doing quite a few interviews still. Um, so I have a couple more today. It's been wonderful, the reception since the album came out, and people are very interested in hearing the story about the recording, because it's a different kind of, we did something different with this, so people
Yes.
think it's exciting to hear about it.
I feel this album different too. I feel it different from your previous EP, Roses of New Roses. Do you feel it different? Do you feel this album different?
Yeah, it is. It has mostly to do with the way it was created. We traveled north to Västerålen, where I'm from, and recorded in a small town by the ocean called 𝐋𝐢𝐚. And we made just a makeshift studio. We built a studio inside the old church in that town, and worked together for 14 days, and just very intensely living together, working long hours, and I think the process of making it makes it different. It feels very different to me. So it did something with the music, and also being so close to home, to where I grew up. It has it influenced the way it sounds and feels to me, and influenced some of the songwriting as well. Some of the lyrics are quite different on this album than previous ones. Yeah.
Why did you decide to go to the north to record the album just in this little village, in this old parish house? Why did you decide to do that?
I guess my first motivation for doing that was just to do something different. I just felt it would be exciting to work like that. And also I'm a father to kind of small kids.
Yes.
I have 3 small kids, and it's necessary sometimes to kind of get away from family life and just allow yourself to get absorbed in the process of making music. Otherwise, it's going to be, if I worked here in Oslo, it would be like constantly interrupted all the time by calls from school or
Yeah, I understand you very well.
Yeah, taking my daughter to like handball practices, stuff. There's always things. So it's necessary actually, just to get some peace and quiet around the process of making it.
Yes.
And also, yeah, and also there's the element of doing something close to home, to where I grew up, and I've never done that before. So I always thought that was something I should do at some point, and now just felt like a good time. Where, maybe because of where I am in my life now, like I'm properly grown up. So, yeah, I don't know.
And you need to remember your childhood, maybe the freedom of childhood, maybe. I don't know. I
don't know either. I don't know either, but it's something about having your own kids of your own that makes you remember your childhood more, maybe, that is more relevant and accessible to you, perhaps.
Yes, are the sounds and maybe the mood of this little village, this little place, the house, the village, embedded in some way in the recordings, in writing too?
Yeah, I would say so, very much. I wrote all the songs after I knew that we were going up there to record it. So it's very much the writing process was very much influenced by that place. I drew in some early influences I had, like 𝐋𝐢𝐚𝐚, the Norwegian author, that who wrote these. His early books are this beautiful poetic prose that's beautiful descriptions of landscape and nature and the changing of seasons, and they were written very close to where I grew up. So I always thought that landscape that's where I'm from. That always did something to me. So I read those books again, and that influenced the lyrics, I suppose, or the feeling of these songs. And also, taking some memories I have from like my teenage days, like early romantic experiences and things, and just cut it up and created new stories out of it. So so the place has very much influenced the songwriting, and also just being there. We got inspired by this huge open landscape and this sort of isolation you have out there. There's not many people, and we wanted to capture that in the music. Just have a lot of space, and I notice now that it's a very slow record. It has a very slow pulse. If I recorded it now, it might have been just a little bit faster, but that's how we felt it when we were up there, you know.
Yeah, it's easy flow. I love it.
Yeah, oh, great.
Yes. You recorded it in this parish house. Can it be perceived like a prayer, maybe? Like a connection with God? I don't know.
No, not really. I'm not really a religious person, but I do enjoy a lot of religious music, and I guess there's a strong influence of early gospel music in my uh, music. People like Mahalia Jackson, it's a huge influence for me as a singer, and yeah. So the religious aspect of music to me is very important to me. I think it's one of the spiritual aspect, the religious aspect of it. I think that's one of the main reasons why we have music, really, like in the first place, why we invented it, to sort of communicate with the spirit plane, so to speak, you know. So so that's, and I think it has that, it still has that function, even in a secular society, you know. Like myself, I'm not a believer, but I think I get that from music, that sort of spiritual, that's longing for something spiritual, something more in life. I think that actually that's one of the things that music still do. So
I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe so. You talk about books and your inspiration in books. How literature and music is connected for you?
I work with words, so a lot with words, and so it's an obvious connection to me. I used to be a lot more into reading poetry. I'm not so much anymore for some reason. I don't know why. I think it's important to read. It does focus me. more, and I need that more and more because of all these devices that you just fractures your and just divides your attention all the time. But so I need that to focus, and it's very important. And also reading poetry opens up. It sort of opens up a little door to the dream world in a way, and opens your mind to metaphors, and so just finding new ways to expressing yourself with words. So it's a very important part of what I do. I just don't do it as much as I should, perhaps, anymore.
Can it be?
I guess that goes for a lot of people.
Can it be a direct inspiration for you? Literature, books.
Definitely can, yeah. There's and I read a lot of history too, and that sort of informs my writing also. I always thought that my interest in history and my sort of musical interest, that they couldn't be sort of unified in a way, that they were two separate things. Lately, I've been thinking that it's my knowledge and interest in history is very important for the lyrics I write. And there's several times in here, like on an island, where there's some examples of that, like the song "Now You See Me, Now You Don't."
Yes,
that's a song I wanted a song that that had something to do with the history of the place 𝐋𝐢𝐚, to sort of set it in a bigger, paint sort of a bigger, more colorful picture of the whole thing. So there's an old mythical kind of historical background in that song, where I draw in historical things that had happened there, and also folk tales that people told, you know. Like they had this story that the devil would show himself as a black dog in the mountain.
Yes.
And then they knew that there was going to be some kind of accident. And so there's many things like that.
Yes, very interesting. I read a lot of interviews with you, and you often say that you sing all the time, even when you walk down the street. The music is all around you all the time. But is there moments in which you need a complete silence? And what is silence for you?
Yeah, I guess it's harder, and it's kind of hard these days to find that silence. I try to seek it when I'm in nature. Also seek it, of course, but I do some yoga and meditation, and it's getting more and more, it's more and more seldom that you experience that sort of silence with yourself. So you got to actively seek it these days, I think.
These days, yes.
Yeah, because you're always kind of surrounded by this noise and this background, this pop music that's playing everywhere, and so it's I find it's vital to kind of keep you connected to yourself, to seek that sometimes. And as a creative person, definitely, because if you can't sit with that silence for a while, you know, there's no way you're gonna come up with a song or anything. It has to come from within yourself somewhere, and you gotta find time to wait for it. You know, the silence comes before the music many times. So
you're a creative person, and I feel a lot of melancholy in your music. Have you ever wondered where this melancholy comes from in you.
No, it comes.
I love this melancholy. Don't understand?
Yeah.
Understand me right? I love it.
A lot of people do and seek those kinds of moods in music, and I'm one of them. I really am, and I think that sort of melancholy or good sad feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's another thing that music does very well. We talked about the spirituality,
Yes.
but there's also this connection with life and some of the sad feelings in life, and a bit of nostalgia perhaps, or remembering something or someone through music. And I think that's also a very important thing that music does. I always liked it, and I've always been more attracted to those kinds of songs. I remember even when I was a kid, I always preferred the songs that had a bit of darkness in them. I remember listening to like Bruce Springsteen, and I was always drawn to the songs that had some fragility to them, or some hurt in them. I always thought that, or some darkness, or some, so that's always been a thing that I've been seeking out.
But why? Why do
it has to do probably with the way I am. I'm not always an upbeat person. I've experienced periods of depression and anxiety in my life, and when you sort of know those feelings, you can't go back. It's sort of it's a glimpse into this world of sort of pain and despair that you can't completely shut that door. You just have to live with it and learn to live with it, and be happy when you can and everything. But it's a once you've experienced it, it's just, you can't put the genie back in the bottle.
Yes.
I suppose so. That's also a thing. I acknowledge that being a part of life, and I just think music that also acknowledges that just feels more genuine and real to me.
Yes, I think so too. I won't miss to ask you about Madrugada. How do you especially deal with the absence of the band so many years?
I had my solo work, and I focused everything on that. And that was I already had 2 albums out when the band broke up. So I just kept doing what I did. I guess my solo work, this album actually, has been influenced by the absence of the band, in a way that I have gathered people around me to sort of create a band. But it was always my music, but the sound of it was still a band sound. It didn't really always sound like it's singer-songwriter to people. I guess that must have been a bit confusing, I suppose. So I guess this is the first time I've really just gotten rid of that band sound and just focused on the songs and my voice, and making a nice universe around that. So sort of making it more minimal.
Yes, I'm really happy that you gathered with Madrugada in 2019 and with your album that you released. But what's the future of the band? Do you have plans?
We don't know. It's been a pleasure doing these shows and the album, but we'll see. We have a long break now, so we might still do more. It was amazing doing that comeback, but but also it was good for us to have it, having been apart. You know, it helps you appreciate it more. And but I've been really sort of wanting to do some solo work now also. So we'll see what happens in the future.
I hope you get again. You will write new music because this band is not so popular in Bulgaria. Madrugada is popular in a little circle of music lovers here.
Yeah.
But we really love the band. I know that we are little and maybe it's not financially okay for you to come here in Bulgaria. I understand the business, but we hope for new music
Yeah.
from you too, from you as a solo artist too. And do you plan to make a tour in Europe, more near, more Central Europe, more South Europe?
Yeah, I have a big following in Greece, so there will
Yes,
be
I
some
know.
shows there. There's also there's a bit of interest from the Balkans
Yes.
to play. I think like Serbia, Slovenia, Croatia,
Oh, we are
those
near
places.
Serbia, near Greece.
I know. And also we went a couple of times to Romania with Madrugada, and we're amazed by the audience there. So that's very close to Bulgaria. You never know what might
Yes.
happen. It's funny these days because the music spreads, and it just happens very organically. And as you said, I mean, Madrugada it's a big band some places, but it's really kind of a cult band, you know. You're not going to read about it in like mainstream press, or no one's going to tell you like you've got to listen to Madrugada from the press or something like that. It's mostly by word of mouth, you know,
Yes.
people who are into that kind of music. So we found our audience, or our audience came to us really, and they're really into what we do, which is it's just the way it happens these days. It's different and it spreads. So I don't know, you know, I didn't know I was gonna end up talking to someone from Bulgaria about this album until a couple of days ago. So that's just the way music travels in a weird way.
Yes.
And we found that, you know, suddenly we could go to a place like Romania and there were like tons of people who were into our music and had been for a long time. So I'll just have to see. I'm focusing really more on that part of Europe now because it's exciting. Never been a lot to those countries. I've never been to Bulgaria, and I'd love to. So it is a financial
Yes.
aspect to it. Obviously, you know, it costs a lot of money for me to get my band on the road, but who knows? You know, there might come an offer from a festival or something, or it just fits in between some other places we're going, and you know, you never know. I'd
I,
love
I
to come and play.
I hope you'll receive an invitation from some of our festivals. We have big festivals, from festival or from a music promoter for a headline concert. I don't know. But
Yeah.
if you don't come to Bulgaria, Serbia, Greece, Romania are so close that all of us that we love your solo music and Madrugada music can come and see you live.
I
And
hope to see some Bulgarian people at my shows.
really thanks for your time, for this conversation, and for your music, because the new album especially really touched me. I feel it very, very well.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. Thank you. Really enjoyed talking to you.
Thank you. Me too. Have a nice day.